Listen, you have found your instrument. It took us a while. It took us a while to get there, but damn,
we found it.
I am proud of you.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Betches, not to be confused with Books and. Oh no! Did it finally happen?
I was gonna say leeches because you find those in lakes.
Did we break you? It took one batch of thrillers to break Erica?
I'm speechless.
I'm so sorry. I thought it was a good idea.
Well,
oh no, I'm fine.
Okay.
Well,
Books and
books and fucking thrilling snitches.
There you go.
What do
Okay.
you want me to say?
I'm Kristen, and with me I have
Erica.
and Maria.
So
Fuck this batch.
if you've listened to our last two episodes, you would know that we did a new batch.
We batching.
We batch and bitch.
We
We
did
batch and bitch. Wow.
We have so many good ones. I'm telling you guys, this was good. This was fun.
So this batch.
Batch and bitch.
So this batch of episodes was thrillers.
And it was thrilling.
It was thrilling. First and foremost, let me just say this is a book podcast.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you didn't know, this is your new first podcast. Ooh. Sorry.
You're in for it, baby girl. Or boy.
I thought we did that. Or person. I thought we did that. Ooh.
Well,
we're now like moving as one unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been very like on
One mind.
it's fucked.
Yeah, I love it.
Here,
Feels good.
In this studio, we do swear, we do spoil, and we do talk about sex. So be prepared. If you want to read this book, we're going to ruin it for you.
Yep.
Because that's what we do here.
Yep.
So this week we're doing Stillhouse Lake by...
Rachel Klein.
Rachel Klein.
Caine.
Oddly enough, this was Erica's pick of the month.
Recommended to me by tons and tons of people.
Really?
Mm-hmm. This was like a very highly recommended book.
It's highly rated.
Not
very
by
good.
not necessarily by people who follow us, but actually like people in IRL.
Oh.
Whoa, really?
IRL.
Yeah.
So you hadn't read it when you recommended it to
No.
us? Okay.
I read it with you guys.
What is the first?
Yeah.
Did you guys listen or read?
I listened.
Listened.
Because it was on KU.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Love
was on
that.
Script.
Loved it. But I also loved that it was it was on Kindle Unlimited.
It was on Script too.
Oh, I listened to it on Script.
Oh, I got it on Kindle Unlimited.
Whoever the
because-
narrator was a fucking rock star.
Because Kindle
Loved her.
could let
Loved
you.
her.
It was great because you could see it
Yeah.
and hear it. And
I
it
know.
would
I
highlight.
love
It
those
would
Kindle
highlight.
ones.
Yeah, it would
That's
highlight.
cool.
I'd never seen that before.
It's
my
like
first
karaoke
time.
for books.
The Shifter series I love.
They do
Susan
that?
Wright has that.
I feel like it helps me retain information even better when I'm able
'Cause
to
you have,
hear
like, a
it
little-
and read it at the same time, like follow along.
Spoiler alert, I fucking loved this book. I loved it. It's one of my favorite books we've read this year. There you
That's
go.
fucking wild.
There you go to whoever said
did that.
to whoever said, does she even like books? Loved this book.
Ooh.
So there you go. Shut the fuck up.
So tight about that.
I loved this book.
But they were saying it as a joke.
No, I was kidding too.
Okay.
I thought it was
We're
hilarious.
all joking here.
No, I
I
thought
don't know. You sounded real.
No, I thought it was funny. She was
Oh,
right. If you
yeah.
look back, how
Wait,
many books have I
I'm
liked?
so surprised that you liked this book this much.
Loved it. 5 stars.
I was surprised going into this.
I
was
would
like,
read
But you
this
said
book.
you said you like predicted some of the stuff,
I predicted a lot of it. Yeah,
and you still liked it regardless.
That's okay.
loved it.
Well, no, usually
I don't
she
know.
doesn't.
I don't know if it was because the narrator was a rock star and it was just
Yeah.
so perfectly the writing. It was probably
It was a very
was
well written book.
It was. I'm gonna say it. It was perfectly written. I said it.
Damn.
and it wasn't
really
like
fucking
too
good.
long, which
No.
I really appreciated.
It didn't like try to
Had-
buckle down on the same shit over and over again. Didn't keep you all like
No.
going and going. It's 300 pages. Perfect.
So
had
I'm
everything
gonna
I
make you
needed.
really sad. The author died. Yeah,
What?
Why would you tell me that?
yeah. Rachel
What?
Caine died earlier last year, I think.
What? How?
I'm gonna look it up.
You kind of just ruined my whole fucking day.
Oh,
She died in
looked so
November of
sweet.
2020.
Oh man.
Don't tell me of COVID.
How old was she?
Don't fucking tell me of COVID.
Because she must have been young, no?
She was
Battle with soft tissue sarcoma.
Oh, damn.
1962.
So not that old, barely even
Yeah.
60.
Barely even.
Stillhouse Lake, again, I loved it. I'm excited to talk about it. I think we should do the 60-second. Erica, was your book. You're doing the 60-second. So that's just what it is. You recommended it. You're doing it. If you're new here, we do this thing on our podcast where we attempt to explain the entire plot summary of a book in 60 seconds or less. brought to us by Erica back in the day. So this week, Erica is going to do Stillhouse Lake. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2.
Okay, so the main character, I completely blinked on her name.
I don't know her name either.
But she is the wife of a serial killer. She finds out that like her husband's a serial killer, so she actually gets like arrested thinking that she's an accomplice, but she's not. But she has to start over. I don't understand why they didn't put her in witness protection, but regardless, like she's been moving she's been moving around the country trying to like get away from crazy stalkers online that keep like trying to make her out to be like this monster or something like that. And she finally settles in this one location and she kind of falls in love with a guy and he's like really great, and then he's not, and then her kids are kind of getting like bullied or whatever, and then she finds out that one of the cops is actually the person that's working with her husband to like, are they trying to kill her? I don't even know.
You
like,
totally missed the fact that they found a body
There's
in the lake.
Oh fuck! There's murders. There was murders in the.
All right, you're done.
In the lake she lives at.
Done. Erica.
Yeah. It was not good.
You're notoriously bad at this,
great.
so I will be honest with you. I wasn't expecting much.
Off the rails, missed big key points. It was a C- at best.
I never go into an Erica 60-second thinking this will be the one.
This is gonna give me all the information I need.
The tides will turn today.
There's yet to have been one. Actually, no. What was the one that I did do? It was like one.
There was one that you did really well.
It was one time because it was an erotica and there was nothing in the book except sex.
Yeah. I think it was fucking
Crossfire. I think it was the Crossfire series.
I don't know.
So yeah, I had a couple of things I didn't love about this. The number one thing was the witness protection thing.
You did. You just mentioned that, and you know what? You're right.
Well,
You're absolutely fucking right.
I don't think because she was tried and
she was acquitted.
For it,
yeah, does that?
I don't think that counts for it.
I think
You might be right.
But if you're
Maybe can you apply to be in witness protection?
Probably.
I think you can.
She probably didn't trust them.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go through the story because my very first note is in all capital letters, and it says, "This is how you do a prologue."
Oh, the prologue was really good.
Because that's how she gets to the...
I've never enjoyed a prologue in my life, and I gotta say...
But you know what it is? That's how you do a true prologue. Yeah, because like
it's so good.
It tells you the whole backstory without giving you
What is this bitch's name? I gotta look it up.
Gwen,
okay.
Gina Royal initially.
Gina, right.
Changes it to Gwen.
Okay,
Proctor.
So Gina in the prologue, she is on her way home.
With her 2 kids.
With her 2 kids in the car, and when she gets home, she notices there's all these emergency vehicles parked outside of her house. Come to find out, a drunk driver had hit her garage. And when she gets...
Which is the wildest way to find out your husband's a serial killer.
When she gets there, the police are immediately like, get out of the car, get out of the car. And she's like, what did I do? And I'm like, okay, this is another psychological thing is how I pictured it. I had no idea where this was going. And they slam her on the hood and they're like, you know what you did? And she's like, no, I what? And they're like, have you been in your garage? And she's like, I don't go in my garage. That's my husband's space. Like, I don't go there. And they bring her into the garage, and lo and behold, there's a dead body hanging from the garage. Mm-hmm. And she screams, and
that's the end of it.
And that's the end of the prologue. I was like, I'm in, sold, let's jump in.
It was a very good prologue.
Imagine finding out that's how the person you know and love and been with you're like married to is a serial killer.
What I love about the prologue and what like there was a lot of like things that were kind of like brought up in the beginning that kind of made more sense in the end, and I think like the police officer in the prologue was so prolific in like the feeling of like really unease and just like being scared and stuff like that, and like it ended up being a police officer that was the problem in the end. So I love that tied back.
Yeah. It's saying, just to circle back to what we were talking about earlier about the witness protection, it's saying like you qualify if the fact of you being as a witness in the trial, that's how you get witness protection, not after the trial is over.
Also, she wasn't a witness. She was an
accessory.
Well,
she wasn't, but she was being tried as an accessory. Yeah. But she can't go in witness protection after the trial's already ended.
Yeah, so essentially she ends up in jail for a while because they
hold her in jail thinking.
They think she helped him. And I don't blame the police officers for assuming that. How do you not know?
I have a big... at least from all the, because I love true crime. So of all the serial killers that I've learned of and their wives, I always feel like they knew something. They just decided to turn a blind eye because they didn't want to be the next victim.
Yes.
And she said, she's like, looking back at it, things were weird. I just didn't want to connect dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think to some degree, like your mind wouldn't necessarily go to my husband's killing people.
No.
It would be like, is he cheating? Is he doing something weird? Does he have a weird like fetish?
Does he have
fantasy?
another family?
Does he have another family? Is he like gay? Like you know what
what-
I mean?
what
Like
is
what
it?
it like I would never automatically
yeah.
jump to like my husband's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Totally. I totally agree.
Agreed.
So given that there is no witness protection program for her because, you know, she survives a trial, as internet losers would do in real life, they
Because
leak all
we
of
see it all the time.
Yeah, they leak all of her information.
They doxed her
They
like
want
multiple times.
to kill her, and they post gruesome pictures of her kids, her children, like
They
Photoshopped.
put the kids'
Yeah.
faces
On
on the
dead bodies.
dead
I
bodies.
mean, it's horrible stuff that I truly think would happen in real life.
I think
This
it already
was-
does.
It does. You're absolutely
I
right.
think the kids were some of the best characters in this book,
Totally agree.
and because of how real they were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they just felt like teenagers that like wanted to be normal and like couldn't be.
And I love their relationship with their mom. Like it was normal. It
Yeah.
didn't. Everything in the family side of things felt so normal and good and real. I think
and like
that's why I
they
enjoyed
felt
it.
like authentic to what was happening and
Yes.
what I would imagine it to be like, which like a lot of books don't get right.
Totally
like
agree.
we you know, when you read a good book like this, it like it automatically like you assume that like this is just how it's supposed to be, but like that's not, every book is not
I
written
also feel
equally.
like a lot
Yeah.
of times the kids or those side characters aren't developed enough,
yeah.
so where they're not given enough time on page. You
Yep,
know,
yep.
they would just focus on Gina the whole time instead of the kids also, which that makes total sense that the daughter's acting out at 14. Like
Yeah.
she's coming into age, and the young one still wants to be like, he wants to still have that hope that things would go back to normal with him and his
And he
dad.
wants like a
and
father figure.
But like the
and
little
Sam.
moments where she looks at her son and is like, "Is there a little bit
does
of my
she
husband?"
is he like him?
That is wild and trippy
Yeah.
and so like raw and real to me, and I thought that was really neat. So what they end up doing is they've been moving around for a long time.
They get to Tennessee. Right?
Yeah, yep.
They're in
So-
Tennessee, Stillhouse, and they're on the lake, and they got this house that she got at an auction, paid cash for it, and she feels like this is the one that they might actually just set down roots, and they might actually like just fix up the house and stay and let the kids have a normal life, and she's feeling that. But then one day, a cop comes to the door, and there was a body found in the lake.
And he was found in the same way that her previous husband, they don't know at this time that she was married to him, but the body was found in a way that the husband had disposed of bodies. So it's
Because
real
he would
sketchy.
dispose of his bodies of the women in water.
Yeah.
So it was a very copycat to how Mel had killed his victims.
And throughout this entire thing, how she's been getting around to these new places and getting new identities, she's been working with this guy, Absalom.
Yep.
Absalom started out as a bad guy who was doxing her and was like really bad and like almost got her family killed, and somehow turned and started like helping her.
Yeah, he turned a new leaf, said, "I'm sorry for what I've done. Like I realized that you're not who I thought you were.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you. Be able to move and really truly have a secret identity that no one's gonna know who you are."
So he's the only person in existence besides her two kids that know who she is. And he's the only one that she's communicating with and saying, this is what's happening. He sent her the article about the body before she even knew about the body. And, you know, the cops come to they're like, hey, you live here.
Did you see anything?
Did you see anything? The daughter was like, I actually did see a boat.
Yeah.
And she was like, fuck, we're going to have to leave because I can't believe now we're involved in this. And like everything's going to come up. They're going to dig it out of us and they're going to know who I am.
And like, you know, I think sometimes with these books, like things don't make sense, decisions don't make sense, but like, you know, you might have gone like, oh, why didn't they leave? But it's like, no, it made sense that they didn't leave because the kids were like feeling a certain way about not leaving, and like they
but
were
also
feeling
if
good
they leave
and like,
right after the cops come to your door,
Yeah.
and then it
now
looks
it's
suspicious.
Yes.
Like, so like things made so much sense
Yes.
with how this story played out, and
agree.
like I really, really appreciated how much I didn't sit there and go, well, why
That's
are
not
we
real.
doing this? Like that doesn't seem like that would happen.
I
Like,
also love
agree,
how we start off with Gina, or I guess Gwen at this point, is doing gun, like she has a gun now.
Yeah.
And she's constantly at the range, and
Yep.
she's taught herself how to protect herself and her kids. There's alarm systems everywhere. Like she has a whole
the
system.
safe room was
Yeah.
cool.
The panic
Like,
room. Like
or, yeah,
she
the
has a
panic room.
whole system for her kids to know and for her to know. So if anything goes wrong, they have a plan. And I thought that was very well written because I feel like that's what I would have done.
Oh, for sure.
If it were me, I would have been at that range every day and just learned how to shoot. So I thought that was really cool. And it brought in that character who was,
I forget his name. The Spanish guy.
Yeah, which the narrator kept saying the last name wrong in the book.
Really?
Yeah, she kept saying Esperanza.
Oh yeah, Esperanza.
It's Esparza.
Esparza.
Yeah, it's not Esperanza.
Oh.
But anyway.
Nice.
Javier.
Yeah. But this
Javier is the owner of the gun range, and he's the only one that's been showing her some kind of like they have sort of a friendship. And when this goes down, I
pictured him a little bit older, right?
Yeah, he's ex-military. He's a
I
veteran.
pictured your dad.
You pictured my dad?
I really did.
You pictured my dad?
I'm not kidding. I did.
I didn't picture my dad.
Your dad, not even that he's Spanish, but your dad loves guns and like he's like that. I just pictured him for some reason. It was the first thing it went to.
Javier is too serious.
I know, but it just went.
My dad's too much of a goof.
Yeah,
like he would have been joking too much.
It happened once, and it stopped.
I get you. He's gonna love that.
Yeah.
No, Javier to me was a veteran, heavy built, broad-shouldered, tall man.
Yeah.
Older, yes. I would go for older. And so Javier is the one that owns the range. And when this goes down, when the cops first come, that's when she's like, gotta go.
Yeah,
gotta
she tries
go.
To buy a
so
van.
she goes to Javier and she's like, can I buy this van off of you that he had put in the classified, something like that. And something goes wrong to where she ended up couldn't actually take the van. She still goes back home. She's like, actually, you know what? I kind of want to settle. But Javier ends up to be a reserve cop. So because she tried to run, he sort of tips her off to the cops, and this just like turns this whole thing into an overdrive.
So this is her now opening up. She's never opened up. She has never tried to make friends because she knew she was going to move to the next place.
She's always going somewhere.
So at the same time that she has kind of made friends with Javier, she was also making friends with this guy, Sam. Sam is a really important character in this book because she starts to fall for him. He comes around.
He starts like helping out around the house and like fixing her stuff, like helping with the kids.
This is your quintessential Nicholas Sparks moment.
I know, it really is.
But it didn't feel
It didn't. It really didn't.
I read it like it didn't feel that way, but as I was reading that section, right, when months have gone by, nothing's going on, she's settling down with her kids in this house, and he's making these fixes. This gave me Safe Haven vibes. Have you seen Safe Haven?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. That montage part when she's finally, falling for him, and the scenes are cute, and it's like the kids doing the housework with the dad figure now, and I was like, oh, that's Nicholas.
It felt good. It felt
great.
Cozy. I loved it.
I was like, is this turning weird?
It felt like it didn't feel like a romance moment though.
No.
I never
That's why I liked it.
At any point did it feel like I was
going into a romance. I thought at first, I was like, are we going to shift to that? Is this where we're going to go?
I thought that too.
Go that way, but then it didn't. I was like, oh, okay.
So Sam, immediately I knew something was off with Sam because he didn't talk about his past. He was a little sus. When she finally told him who she really was, his reaction was really weird.
Yes.
And I texted you guys. It was right after she had told him, and I said, Sam's ex-wife is probably one of the victims.
Yeah.
I wasn't far off.
Sister.
Because as it turns out, Sam's sister was one of Mel's victims.
The last one. The one that she saw in the garage.
And he's been basically following her around to try to confront her for this moment. But as you can tell, he had already fallen for her, and he was seeing a different side of her.
He noticed that she's not what everyone thought she was.
Exactly.
So he was like, and she did a really good job of like, especially, in romance, you'd flip to the other character.
Yeah.
Like that would be the way to tell that perspective. And instead, she used different ways to communicate that he was feeling unsure about how he was. Like,
it was really well done.
Like him being on the porch and like watching her, but then like going back inside, and like it was still showing that symbolic like tortured male without like having to fucking say it.
Yeah.
And it still gave you the same effect. It just told it in a different way.
And the way she found out was after that first body was found, and they've figured out who she is. The cops know who she really is, so they already assume that she's the one that's involved. Her husband, she was involved in everything, they think. So she's at the station getting questioned, and Sam gets brought in handcuffs, and she's like, what's going on? And then that's when they reveal revealed to her that, you know, it was the sister, and she loses hope in she was like, so Sam did it, and he's the bad guy, and he's been following me, and
she
it's
goes
all
through
on
a
him.
lot of potentials. At one point she thinks Javier did it.
Yep.
At one point she thinks it's Sam.
Yeah.
Also, we have to mention that Mel still has contact with her.
Yeah.
No matter how many times she's moved, Mel has found a way
To send her.
still send her letters, and it always goes in sort of threes. At one point when she does this, I think he calls her, or I can't remember what pushed her to go visit him. But she decides to visit Mel.
So he keeps sending her letters.
So I think
Yeah.
at
And
that
he
point,
sends a series
she's
of
like, "I'm
letters.
done,"
He
yeah.
sends 3 letters.
Yeah,
The first 2 letters are loving husband and father, and then the last letter is like,
I'm gonna
you're
kill
a piece
you.
of shit. I'm gonna kill you
Yeah.
and dismember you.
so she goes to confront him finally and be like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Like you're done. We're done with you. Like you're evil.
well,
Leave us
because
alone."
the body showed up at this point, I think.
And
Yeah.
she's
Like,
thinking that has a hand in all of this. Like
she just has an
trying to-
unsettled feeling of like, are these things connected? This is really weird.
I was like getting so pissed when like nobody was believing her. Like I was getting angry, and that's when I know it's a good book, is if I care deeply about
Yeah.
a character. Like I cared about her. It was like one of the first characters I've read in a while where I was like, damn, like I want her to win so bad.
Yeah.
Like so bad. She's been through hell. Like I just want her
And
to
she's
win.
just trying to like put her head down and like live her life. And she
Yeah.
can't. I think it also, I mean, I don't want to get too much into like politics of police, but like it's just a very common denominator of police not believing women.
Yeah.
Of just like this, you know, you're acting crazy.
Like
you
she's
think
a
you're
victim
crazy.
in all of this.
And she's a victim, and they don't care. They don't help her. And like even the beginning in the prologue, the police officer was like aggressive for no reason. Like
They already condemn you
already,
before.
like
Yep.
what happened to innocent before proven
No, it's
guilty?
the other
Like
way
it's
around.
just you're fucking guilty by association, and like unfortunately a lot of police right now are like that. That's the sentiment towards police.
Yeah.
Which, touching on police officers, it turns out that
It was the police officer.
our main bad guy is a police officer who's been in contact with Mel and who's doing this for Mel, and he's brought his 2 kids into this, his 2
Which
sons.
like so fucked up.
Right?
And in the end, it was actually Absalom that
Yeah.
had been giving all of this information
To Mel.
him. Yeah.
His entire time he was working for Mel.
Which no fucking shit.
I honestly,
know,
that's
right?
the one part that I was
I
like,
agree.
didn't believe it. Someone who went from trolling you and almost getting you killed to now being your ally because he's a
And
good
you're gonna
hacker.
trust. She doesn't trust
no.
anybody, but she trusts him.
I would not. I would never have allowed him to know wherever I was because he could always switch.
Well, he
Yeah.
didn't really know where she was.
no, when
No,
she
he
she
did.
started working with
He
him,
knew.
He knew.
He wanted her to think that he was guessing, but he knew exactly where she was.
No, he knew, but she never told him.
No, but still, like she
But he
still
knew.
trusted to say,
But he knew.
Hey, I need new phones,
Yeah.
new this, new identities. If he knows the identities, he's gonna
Yeah,
find
exactly.
you.
No, I know. Well,
he's
that's
such
what
a
she
good
said. She
hacker.
was like, I know he
Yeah.
knows where I am, but I haven't like.
I
Physically
trust
told him.
him for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
reason. Yeah.
That's the one thing
That
I was like,
But like, you know, not for nothing, she trusted another man that
Yeah.
like did this too. So like,
Sam and her end up so this is the end of the book is essentially another body is found or no okay, so she's with Sam in the kitchen and she sees
Someone tries
a
to kill
guy
them.
she sees a guy with a gun pointed at the back of Sam's head. She dives, she grabs Sam on the ground, and she has like her own gun. He's got a gun because he's ex-military.
he's ex-military.
So this whole thing breaks out, and the other cop that's actually good and working with them comes to their
The girl
rescue.
cop.
And yeah, it's a lady cop. And they were like, "What about my kids? Like, you were supposed to be
You were
watching my
supposed to
kids.
be watching my kids. Yeah.
Now shit's fucked, right? Shit hits
the
the fan.
kids get taken.
We go back to the house. There's blood everywhere, and the kids are gone.
And the whole room with the panic room, how she was like, she couldn't find her kids in the house. So she's freaking out. Oh my God, my kids. And then she's like, wait,
They would know.
the alarms are still on.
Yeah.
It's weird. The panic room. Runs to the panic room. The panic room is in shambles. Blood everywhere.
That
So
would have fucked me up.
I was losing it for her.
Yeah.
At this point, I've forgotten about the phone that was stolen and was
Yeah.
given
Yeah.
back. So she did that the son's phone got stolen by the officer's kids, and like there was a lot of like
Bullying.
uncertainty and bullying around that, and it seemed really weird when it happened, but because it happened so early on, at the point where like they were taken, I'm not thinking about the phone.
Can I tell you what my most insane theory was when I
What?
first started reading it and that scene came up? I thought her son might have been still talking to his dad.
That would have been a cool twist.
And that was the twist, that like maybe the son was a little bit not okay and has been working with him the entire time. That was like the twist I was anticipating. I was so happy I didn't get that because it was different, and I like that the kids were good and it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
But so this cop essentially kidnaps Gwen and is
she's
under
going,
the guise of like looking for their kids.
Yeah.
The search party's happening. Sam's with the search party. I'll take you to Sam.
Yeah.
And they're going up this like mountain
This
range.
was creepy.
Yes, especially
one
when she's
creeped me
trying
out.
to text
Yeah.
Sam saying cause Sam's
Really
like,
good
where are
suspense.
you? And
Really
she's
good.
like,
It was very well
Graham
done.
has me is what she was writing.
Yeah.
And he, knowing what he was doing, he kind of jerked the
officer,
car.
yeah.
Graham jerked the car. Phone fall. I think he grabs the phone and fucking smashes it.
Yeah.
And she knows what's going on, but she's trying to pretend that she doesn't.
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh gosh, can't believe I broke your phone. My bad.
Yeah.
Let me call for you. Hey, do you are you doing this? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, they got you, girl. They're doing it. We're gonna take you over there."
Yeah.
And then as they get closer and closer to this range, she realizes this is who did it.
Yep.
And the radio's not working.
Mm-hmm.
It's all weird. They go out into the
Woods.
the woods. He's trying to kill her. Turns out he has night vision goggles.
Yeah, that was fucked.
Well, I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
But the whole way, before we even got to Graham picking her up, and she was in the precinct, I'm like, dude, it was Graham.
Really?
It was Graham. I was like,
that was the one thing I didn't call.
because Graham was the one that was just.
I knew it was one of the
his
officers.
Kids
I didn't think it was
being
him.
bullies.
Yeah.
And the way I don't know what it was, but something about Graham just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
And so when she's in the car, I'm like, yo, it was Graham. Yo, it was Graham, bro. And then the whole shootings happen. I was driving to New Jersey at the time. I was gasping out loud. I'm like,
Same. I was so into it.
The
it was
I think
very
I
good.
audibly
the
said,
fight
"Whoa."
in the woods
Yeah.
was great.
Was
it was the
very
middle of the
good.
night. It was raining super heavy, and it's like Tennessee, so they're not Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're in the mountain. They're like in the cold. So if you've lived in the South, you lived in the South.
Yeah.
50 degrees for us now up here is nothing, but for them with rain, it's like a lot. So she's feeling extra cold. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm shivering. Da, da, da. And these kids are trying to kill her, plus their dad with the night vision. And what does she do? She impales him with a freaking branch.
Yeah, I forget.
Good shit, man. She really like.
Yeah, she's very like she used everything in her.
Yeah.
Yeah. in
So
her
she
arsenal.
moral of the story, she saves her kids
Yeah.
and the end.
Those cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger. Erica, I was so mad at you because I went on her Instagram
Yeah.
account and Erica posted a story and the first thing that
she
pops
texted
up.
us this.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
That's why I kept texting
yeah.
to Kate so you wouldn't see
You're
it.
so sweet. Well, I went on our Instagram story and Erica goes, "I'm so fucking pissed because Stillhouse like ended on a cliff." And before I could even fucking shut it off because I knew she was talking about it, I had already first of all read the fucking
tags,
subtitles.
yeah.
And I was just like, and I put it down. I was like, "This bitch."
Every time.
So it
But
was
like that
all.
didn't fucking spoil
It
it.
spoiled
No,
that
it
Phil's
ruins
experience.
it. That's me and Maria agree on this. Like, so leading up, it was all I could think about. I was like, when she was
It's a
about to
cliffhanger.
like,
It's a cliffhanger. It's
I
a
was like,
cliffhanger.
okay, they're not gonna resolve this because it's gonna be a cliffhanger.
Yeah. It ruins the experience.
It does.
That's
I'm
so
sorry, but it
fucking
does.
ridiculous.
It does.
It's so ridiculous.
What do you want from me? It's what happened. I was
The entire time I'm like, what's the cliffhanger? Now I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, how am I gonna be held off from my happy ever after?
I didn't think I was gonna get the kids back. I was like, this is it.
Yeah, you had no idea. You still had no idea what it was gonna be.
But
Yeah,
I
I
know
know.
it's a cliffhanger.
And then when the cliffhanger happened, I was like, oh.
Remind me. So he escapes.
I wish I knew this.
Mel escapes.
So Mel
So she
escapes.
gets news that Mel escaped prison. And
Thanks to
now it's
Absalom.
like, and now it's like, uh-oh, what's gonna, and he's definitely looking for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's got Sam now. She's fine.
We'll find out in
So
Stillhouse
the rest
Lake.
of the books.
Is that what it's called?
Kilman Lake.
No way.
Yeah. Kilman Creek.
How many are there in this?
That's number 2. I think there's 6.
6?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I can't read 6 of them.
Well, we don't know if it's like different people.
I'll definitely read the second one.
Cool.
I would love a movie.
Yeah.
I would
That'd be a good movie.
love a movie of this. Okay, I'm going through my notes. Maria, how'd you feel about the long ass chapters?
Because you were listening.
So you're
I
down
was
here.
listening, but yes, I felt long.
I noticed it was like chapter 1 of like 30
Yeah.
or something, like a low amount of chapters.
No, it was like,
Or, like
10 chapters.
Yeah, you're right. It was really low.
it
So I was like,
it did feel really long. And I remember because the thing about audiobooks is, you know how we talked about a couple months ago, well, maybe a year ago now, where we said that you guys can stop in the middle of a sentence and I can't?
yeah.
I can't do that physically, But audio,
Oh,
yes.
really?
Because podcasts, also, I don't have to finish the podcast. I can just stop it whenever, and I can come back in. I think of it like a podcast.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was like 100 pages in, and it was like chapter 3. I was
I immediately thought of Maria. I was like, "There's no way she enjoys this."
I thought it was. I thought it was fucking going crazy.
Yeah,
I was like,
because
wait, what?
Because I can stop an audiobook at any point.
Yeah.
That works better for me. But if it was physically, God, I would have been so upset.
Forget about it.
It was long chapters, but I don't mind the long chapters when you're not switching perspectives as much. Because like to me, like I want to get to the next perspective or whatever, like whatever it is.
I hate perspective changes, so I totally get it. I will say, to like wrap this batch up, I know we have one more book that we're doing, but there was a mention where she was talking about her son, and she was like, yeah, well, he's a young boy. Oh yeah, she was like, of course my son wouldn't be as scared because he's just like a young kid, like he doesn't get it. And I just want to say that really brings our theme back around of adults versus kids. This whole entire batch has really been, I mean, we're even doing Goosebumps next, which is all kids stuff. So it's an interesting play on like, do us adults really have it all together?
No.
Do kids know more than they let on?
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to, right? We're all fucked up.
We're all messed in the head.
Young or old, we don't have it together. And that's really what it all comes down to. We're all just scared. Everyone's scared.
You guys gave this book a 5?
I did.
I give it a 4.
I gave it a 4 too.
As well, or 4.2?
No, a 4 too. Also a 4.
Got you.
I think for me, like a 4, just because like it was good, but I didn't lose sleep over it. I wasn't like constantly thinking about it.
Oh man, I read it so fast.
Yeah, it's just this was the best of like the thrillers and stuff, and I still think this book would have been better as a movie.
I have learned that I like thrillers, so that's something new.
I thought you always liked thrillers.
Yeah, you're right. No,
You've
you're right.
never said you didn't like thrillers.
I loved The Institute. I guess
you're a thriller person.
The thing about Stillhouse Lake going into it and Erica being the one to recommend it,
I
part
thought it
of
had
me,
romance.
and like also knowing it was her husband, I was like, it's going to be a fucking Lifetime movie. That's what I thought. I was like, this is going to be a Lifetime.
No expectations of it.
Or
low expectations.
This could
Very
be.
low. Totally. If
I saw the rating on Goodreads and I was like, this must be really good because it was 4.11.
Insane.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, thrillers have been very low.
Yeah, we talked about this.
She's just the writing is perfect.
Great.
To me, it's perfect. It's what I wanted a book to be. Like I said, in that moment, it's what I needed. It was the adventure, the anticipation, the thrillerness, everything I needed. Happened.
I think what the star of this book was how short it was.
Yeah,
because like it wasn't a big story, so it didn't need all these like incessant like details about stuff. Like things moved along quickly, and I liked the pace of it.
That prologue being so good really just set the tone for me. I think from then on
300
out,
pages is a good,
solid. I love a good.
It's just
300
like
pager.
easy.
So that's that. Do we have any other recommendations? I recommend, if you didn't listen to our last 2 episodes, just go listen to them because it's the thriller. See, this is what she does. She yawns and sniffs.
I just yawned earlier. Like 2
but you
seconds
turn
ago.
away.
I did.
You're respectful.
I recommend Safe Haven.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was thinking Safe Haven, but I actually want to read the book. I still have the book.
We're gonna have to do a batch of Nicholas Sparks books.
Can we? No,
He's his own genre.
Can we? I have one of my favorite books of his is See Me, which the main girl is Mexican. Her name is Maria. So
I would do it. Fuck it.
And I think I've reread it twice now.
But that's gonna be our genre, Nicholas Sparks.
A Walk to Remember. We have to read A Walk to Remember.
I love that movie.
I want to read it because I want to cry the book.
I don't.
Anyway, Safe Haven. I was gonna say that. Okay. This reminded me more of Safe Haven than anything else.
Erica, this is not your genre, so
not my genre. That's why I probably gave it a 4. I still really liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say 90% of books 4s because I like them, but they're not. It's not like 5s to me are like I'm thinking about them later.
Same.
And like they've stuck with me in some way.
Yep.
So this is a really good rating from me.
Cool.
Stop jinxing with me. Keep saying the same word.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's really it for Stillhouse Lake. I highly recommend picking it up and giving it a read. I know we've spoiled it all, so you probably won't, but
yeah, I think
it's worth
I think this one we actually did a lot of the right information.
Oh, this was probably our most accurate episode we've ever done.
I think most of these have had the right information.
You know
Fuck
what?
everyone who says that our fucking information's wrong.
No, fuck everybody who's right about the fact that when we all three of us read a book, it probably is like way more accurate and better.
No, because I don't know. I've seen where all three of us have read a book and we miss things because we know it's already in there.
Yeah.
If no one asks us to cover it, like you
That's
asking
true.
random questions, we wouldn't know we have to answer that question for you.
That's true.
But because we know these things,
You're right.
we wouldn't mention it because we know. We're
You're
having
right.
a conversation. We're not telling them things.
No, you're right. Okay, well,
Fuck everyone.
fuck the patriarchy.
Love you all.
Patriarchy. That brings me to Patreon. We have a Patreon. A lot of extra episodes over there. A lot of extra content. We post outtakes that are really funny.
Sometimes. Not all of them are
Sometimes,
funny.
yeah. And there's sometimes they're not. A lot of Erica yawning in the outtakes.
Really?
So no. Do you even watch them?
No.
So head
I
on.
do. I post them.
So if you want to be a patron, totally worth it. Follow us on Instagram. That's books_n_Betches BETCHES. Look us up on YouTube. You could watch this episode.
YouTube.
If you look us up on YouTube, you'll see what I'm doing right now.
You dumbass.
You don't even know till you look us up. Thank you so much.
You don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.